There we go.
And there's no doubt.
Good evening, everyone. Marcy, we call the meeting to order.
Yes,
Please read the statement.
yes. Let me put my glasses on. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public and the press on January 6, 2021, and on October 7, 2021, and was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-7.
Thank you, Marcy. Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Here.
Councilmember Chili. Here. Councilmember Fury,
Here.
Councilmember Pitster,
Here.
Council President Shortwell.
Present. I invite everybody to rise and salute the flag. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we'll move to public comments for current agenda items only. This session is limited to 3 minutes per person. Please, when you be recognized, come out and wish to speak. Please state your name and where you reside for the public record. May I have a motion to open the floor to public comment?
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone abstaining? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the floor is now open. Who would like to address the council on current agenda items? Mr. Lynch?
Hello, my name is Brian Lynch. I live in Barry Lakes. First, I'd like to say that my heart and prayers go out to the people of Kentucky for the devastation that they had to go through with this tornado. And from what I've seen on the news tonight, the storms are not done yet. They still got some coming through. So I think that we should hold these people in our thoughts and prayers. I want to talk about something that's a little less devastating, but a little bit more dramatic. And it's the idea that we have to rush to get this contract done. Now, I am not against the contract being done if it's done right. There's a lot of questions that are being asked right now, and they're really not being answered. But I just saw the way that the council took the ordinance for the gun safety, and they kicked the can down the road so the new council can take care of it. But something that's not as devastating as a gun problem, you seem to fight to the death for this. Now, I think that a new council coming in should have something to say about something that's only 3 weeks away from happening. What is the rush? We could do this. If you're thinking that the new council isn't going to be for it, you're doing a good job of making them feel that way. We really want to be part of the process, and that's why we ran for office. So please, think it out. Think about just tabling this whole situation until the 1st of January. I'm not saying that we are miracle workers, but we can work together. And let's show the town. I have a lot of residents that have a lot of questions about this. And they're really, really concerned, which they should be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch. Mr. Hessian?
Yes.
Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening. I brought props. Welcome, Joe. Good evening, council members, Mayor Shortway. My name is Joe Hessian. This is here 260 Boulevard, 260 Boulevard, Mountain Lakes, New Jersey. And we do business here at Mountain Creek. CEO of Stone Partners, the parent company of Mountain Creek Resort. I'm here today to talk about, actually, can you guys see that?
No.
I didn't want to, sorry, we can make it so you can see it, but I just want to make sure everyone. It actually goes very well with what we were just speaking about in Kansas. So first, before we start, let's just talk about some history. So as you know, we came back to town in 2017, officially took control of the resort and ownership of the resort in March 2020. We've been trying to clean up all of the past issues that have really happened at the resort for the last 20 somewhat years. Some of that includes the sewer situations, so I just want to briefly, for public record too, so everyone knows, because it's a good story. Every time it's a warm December, people stop me and ask me and everyone else and say, is it going to be okay? Is it going to be okay? Yes, we're going to open soon. We've had a record number of seasons pass sales. And for the first time ever, I can announce here that when we get the bill from Danell for next year's sewer bill, we will be able to pay it 100% in full on the first payment. So that's super exciting. So people worried about what happens if it doesn't snow. It will snow, leaves do fall on trees. It'll do really well, but we're far ahead of the game. And I think our partnership is working out great. Which brings me to this order of business in the spirit of trying to clean things up. Back in 2004, the state of New Jersey changed the floodplain from a 500-year flood to a 100-year flood because of the change in climate. If you look at storms like Hurricane Irene, if you were part of that when it kind of devastated our town, especially Mountain Creek, because hurricanes do not mix well with mountains. What happened was the state of New Jersey wanted us to increase the size of our dams to protect essentially the public. We've done a really good job of getting almost all of them done. We have one remaining. It's a very expensive bill to do. It's somewhere between $1.5 to $3 million. When I came back in 2017, the DEP called me up and said, welcome back. We'd love to talk to you about fixing this. I literally said at the time, we don't have the funds to do it. It's not something we can do right now. They emphasized the category 1 high hazard dam, which categorizes if there's loss of human life if it were to break. Because of that, the state of New Jersey has offered us a loan to fix the dam. So we went to the state of New Jersey, we talked to them about how that would work. It's a 20-year loan for $3 million at no greater than 2%. So it's a really great incentive for us to do this and get it done. The one catch is it has to be co-signed by the municipality, in this case, Vernon Township. So we've talked about that with my partner and council, and we've talked about how to do that because I want to make sure that there's no issues with the town being on the hook for anything. If we ever work in default, we're absolutely comfortable in putting documentation together to make sure we're liable for anything we don't pay. But I do think it's really important that we get this done. We're eager to check another thing off the list of things that we need to do to make us go forward stronger. So with that, I'd like your consideration for a resolution to co-sign our application with the state.
Thanks, Joe. I'm sorry, Mr.
And Mayor, you'll address when
Yeah.
we'll pull this resolution. I'm sure somebody will make that motion and there'll be a discussion, I'm sure. And Mayor, you'll be able to address that.
Yeah.
Questions? And Joe, if you can stay.
Yeah, I can say we have extra information if you need anything at all. I can leave these here. If anyone needs them, so we're ready to go. Just let me know. I also have some other maps if you want.
What's that? Yes, now you want to wait. Well, why don't we wait before we vote? Because we still have a whole meeting to go through another resolutions. I mean, are you guys okay with that?
Yeah, we'll have to wait.
We'll wait, right? Public comment.
Just to let you know, Mr. Council President, I'm very familiar with this situation. And I strongly recommend we pass the resolution out, to make some comments on it, and just before the council consider voting.
Okay.
I've got something prepared.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Anyone else desiring to speak? Mr. Rizzuto?
Yes. Rizzuto of Glenwood, New Jersey. On your agenda this evening is the awarding of the bids for the is the program contract.
Excuse me?
The bid this evening for
Trail.
I'm sorry, the bike trail. And to me, they meld right together. I'm going to ask you this evening if that could be delayed. Those specs were developed under the existing council along with input from your professionals. In a few weeks, you're going to have a new sitting council to provide oversight. And before really that oversight can become effective and mean anything, I think it's going to have to, the new council, going to have to gain some knowledge of what's going on. there seems to be an awful lot of unanswered questions. When 5,000 people elect 3 people, based on a level of dissatisfaction, quite honestly, I haven't seen in quite a while. I think we owe it to the people to at least review this situation one more time. But I see conflicting statements that the reason why we should be able to or can't build commercially on a piece of property is because it's bobcat habitat. And yet I receive correspondence showing the member of the DEP saying he never spoke to anybody in the council or taxpayer, stating that there was bobcat habitat. I mean, that you're totally, completely in conflict in that state. Secondly, the issue of an easement, I've specifically asked for some information regarding that. I wrote to the mayor and also to the council, to the clerk, asking for the statements or the letter that Mr. Shortway was to have alluded to in his comments. And the word came back to me that there was no statement from, no letter received from the, from Mr. Mulvihill regarding that easement by either Mr. Shortway or the mayor. And yet, in Pike County Courier of March 2021, there was a statement attributed to you, Mr. Shortway, that said you really couldn't go ahead with the easement because of numerous issues that were listed in the letter received by you from Mr. Mulvihill. Now, I understand, having been in your seat before, that perhaps some of these things were taken out of context or you were misquoted, but certainly I would think that in trying to fulfill my request, I would have received a listing of what those issues were. In checking with the owner, I find that there were substantial or a number of telephone conversations where these particular items were addressed. And I think it becomes certainly advantageous to the public to see what would be required in curing that situation in terms of time, money, and perhaps it might be substantially less than $289,000 that you're spending on property that a number of people seem to think has no commercial value. And yet 3 appraisals bring it to about that particular price of about $289,000. Lastly, there is an item on the agenda for a move on the MUA. And I have 2 questions. One, has Mr. Fury resigned? 2, was notification of the availability of those seats being filled, posted for public so that they could apply? I looked, I haven't been able to see it, perhaps I missed it. But in any event, I think when these seats are available, and all of you have seemed to have pushed for public participation. One of the easiest ways to suppress public participation is to just make a quick appointment. The last meeting, there was no mention of an open seat. That was 2 weeks ago. Certainly any type of notification for the public to show interest would have allowed at least 2 weeks to have the person submit an application and have it reviewed. I would ask that you delay also that particular action because I think it falls outside of what I would consider reasonable, normally should have been done. And it's not illegal, it's certainly maybe unethical. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Williams?
Thank you, Fred Williams. I served on the Community Action Advisory Committee for the last 5 years. The Environmental Commission for I've been involved with serving this township for close to 40 years in a voluntary capacity. I haven't been involved in open space, trails, and right. Okay. Anyway, make sure it's not me. And we have been working on this project for longer than I care to admit. It is coming to a fruition currently, and it is not being rushed, in my opinion, to achieve some sort of deadline. But has been a considered ongoing process that has had to clear a number of hurdles to come to actuation. And regardless of the politics, I don't want to go there. But if the ducks are in order, let's march the ducks. Let's do this thing and be done with it. And every analysis of costs and the payback for any kind of trail construction has always been positive in multiples. This trail, once it is constructed, will not have the payback that we are looking for unless it is extended to Mountain Creek, unless we can get it from where it is from the PAO up to Maple Grange Road and across to Maple Grange Park. Then we will have enough capacity to really make something supremely good out of this process. And we're blessed with riches of abundance of natural resources and just beautiful places. And to get people out and into nature, as I see this happen, is just nothing more than a huge positive. And I urge you to act on that.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Anyone else wishing? Yes, sir. Very good, thank you.
My name is Emmanuel Robinson. My business partner is Carl Bruce. We represent Garden State Green Genetics. We are here today to introduce ourselves. We are going for a cultivation license. Have a place secured here in Vernon. Carl was actually the first medicinal grower in New Jersey.
The director of cultivation for Greenway Passion Center, which is the first dispensary in New Jersey to get their license.
They were located in Franklin, not too far from here. We live in Sparta. I am a Sussex resident. We moved up here from the inner city. My wife and I, my 2 children. I am invested here in Vernon. My other business partner and myself, we have a few real estate properties here. And you know, I love it here, and this is why I want to bring Garden State Green Genetics here. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Just quick brief about us. Pretty much it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Mr. Dunlop? If people coming up to speak, just little bit louder, please. I know I'm having some difficulty. These masks make it tough. Fine, but just so people at home that are watching, make sure they hear it. And also, so when Marcy transcribes all this, we can get all the facts and everything you have to say is important, so we get it down correctly. So thank you.
Good evening, Steve Dunlop from Williams Hills Estates. Some of my comments tonight are going to be similar to what I made at the last meeting. The last 2 weeks I've been accused, once outright and once an inference, that my comments were racist. And that I was making racist comments about our mayor I want to make sure that everyone understands it has nothing to do with the color of anyone's skin, but the content of one's character. The mayor was very clearly asked when he was running for mayor, if he thought that using township resources for a trail was a good use of our funds. And he said that he didn't believe so. He was quoted as saying, we have the Appalachian Trail, and my wife walks there, and I don't believe that this should be our focus of economic development. And I'm not really sure that having a trail is going to fill some of the empty buildings. He also told me personally after the meeting at the high school that he was going to replace the business administrator. The BTMU fiasco was the responsibility of the users, and there would be no new trails while he was mayor. Just like the pump track, the trail started out as a volunteer project. We were told it wouldn't cost us anything. Volunteers were going to build a trail. I'm not against trails. We have lots of trails here, but I'm against the way this whole thing has been done. 3 of the 5 council members were not elected, but were appointed. The last one that was appointed, I didn't even think was done the right way. We tried to have a second nomination, but it was shot down. At the November 15th meeting, the mayor said that he was going to publish a notice for bids for the construction of the trail with the requirements that the bids would be received no later than the 30th. And in my comments, I had said, we now have a new bid package with a November 13th deadline, which allows just 8 days to submit a 94-page package, 2 of which are weekend days, plus one's a holiday. Later, I was given documentation by the town clerk that shows that the advertisement was actually placed on the 11th, the 14th, and the 18th. 2 of the notices placed before the mayor even said that he was going to be placing a bid. Once again, I feel there's been deception here. We talk about the Baldwin property. I can find documentation all the way back to February where there was talk about buying the Baldwin property. The mayor has said that he worked very hard with Andy Mobile's company for the right-of-way. There was actually an ordinance passed for a right-of-way that was never given. And I believe the mayor has been disingenuous. I believe he has outright lied. I believe the way that this whole thing has progressed has been wrong. And I think, as I said at the last meeting, I would hope that the council would slow the roll and wait and let the new council see. As I said, there was an election. Mr. Lynch, Ms. Buccieri, and Mr. Rizzuto got 4,700, 4,100, and 3,900 votes respectively. The 2 members that are on the council, the incumbents who will not be on the council come January 1, got 3,200 and 3,100. So I think the township was paying attention. I didn't think anyone was, but I think they were. With the issues facing us with the MUA and the money that has been bonded and the cost that we have, I just don't think now is the time to be spending this kind of money on trails, especially after assurances were given by our mayor that it wasn't his priority and there would be no new trails while he was mayor. And he only won by 116 votes. 116 votes, I'm not sure he would have gotten had he been honest about his position. He's never given any explanation of why he's changed his position. He just refers to people as bullies and haters on Facebook. For me, it's not personal. I've spoken with the mayor several times about this, and we've agreed to disagree. But I think there's been deception here. I spoke with a council member about this at the last meeting. She was not aware. The person was not aware of it. I think these questions should be raised. I know that we have a council member that's new that said that it couldn't build on the Baldwin property because of the Bobcat situation. And if you don't believe me, contact the DEP. Well, the DEP was contacted and came back and said, I never had any conversation with anyone about Bobcats. But yet it's okay to build it and put a parking lot on it. I just think there's been a lot of deception here. And I think that there's members on the council that at the very least should be abstaining and you shouldn't be participating in a vote. Because I don't think the township really wants to buy what you guys are selling right now. I would hope that you would wait. There's still going to be 2 council members on here that are of the opinion that we should have a walking and biking trail. Work with the new council, find a way to do it in the proper manner, not just shove it down our throats with people that have just been appointed to the council. I didn't vote for any of these guys. Those are my comments. Tens of millions of dollars were spent on our last Main Street, and we see what it is now. It's a bypass road. Now town council wants to develop Church Street. I don't believe that this is going to result in the economic growth that everyone anticipates is going to. Hell, I think we have a better chance of making money off marijuana than we do off walking trails. I think that if the pump track was such a great idea, that Mountain Creek would have done it a long time ago. They had plenty of property, they could have put it where the old tubing trail was. They've never seen fit to put one in. I feel I'm wasting my time here tonight as I have in the past. I wish somebody would listen though, and maybe ask some of the questions that have been asked tonight by a new council member, by myself. I'm just trying to do the right thing for my taxes. And I know with the MUA problems that we're facing, we've got a lot of money coming due. I think that should be the priority, especially since our mayor now feels that it's the responsibility of all township members, not just the users. And I'm sure I've gone over my 3 minutes, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dunlop. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, my name is Jacqueline Haley, I live in Highland Lakes, and as a homeowner and active member of the community, I'd just like to say that I love the idea of the pump track and the walking trail. I think we'll use it, our friends will use it, and when we have company up, it's something to go do together, and I think it's a great idea. I hope that the town council moves forward with it. We've been reading about it in the paper, and there's a lot of excitement about it, I think. So I'd like to see it go forward.
Thank you, Ms. Haley. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Dawn Jason. I am from Highland Lakes also. I think one of the biggest things here tonight is, thank you. What you see is, we just had someone say, oh, how they would be ecstatic about a bicycle pump and a new hiking trail, okay? Every day, I hike my dog in this township. Do you know how many people I see every day? Maybe 8, 9 people as I'm hiking, okay? So what does that mean? How did you determine what that need was for a hiking trail? Is it grand? Does it sound good? Is it what is needed in Vernon Township? I've lived here for 42 years. I hike at Way Beyonda. I'm in Maple Range, okay? I go out external, okay, to Vernon. But the point being, okay, I don't understand why you need another hiking trail, okay? I'm on the Appalachian Trail, okay? I'm on there with my dog, okay? I'm in there in the summer. I'm in there in the winter in a snowstorm. But the point being, I think what I see with this council now, you have your own agenda. You don't have the agenda for the people, okay? A bicycle pump, maybe, if it's done right. Why do you have to push it through so quickly? Okay, is it like our national leaders that you have to push it through because it's your time? Or do you look at the community and the taxpayers and what their need is? I truly think that's not what's happening in Vernon. This is the first council meeting I've been to where I've said, I've seen enough. And I'm not alone in this comment, okay? A lot of us taxpayers have had enough. So why can't we look at what's necessary for Vernon? If you go to the gym at Minerals like I do, you hear people say, okay, we have limited restaurants. If you don't like Italian or Asian, you're gonna have to go up to Warwick, okay? There's no shopping in Vernon. Guys, what are you doing for us as a normal citizen? Except send the guy up to my house again this year to reevaluate my house. Okay, I'm not trying to be critical, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. We do have a say, and I'm not alone standing here today. I know there's a lot of taxpayers that are requesting and saying, hey, council, if you want the bike pump track, if you want the hiking trail, let it go with the new council. Let's think this out. Maybe we should focus on bring more business into this community. I don't know. I am the average homeowner in Vernon. I love this town. I think we can do better. I think I'd like to see a little bit more holiday spirit on our roads. Okay? There's more to do than just talk about a bike pump and a hiking trail where you're only going to get 9 people on it. And don't tell me they're going to come and eat in our restaurants or our Asian and our Italian restaurants. So think about it. I'm serious. Don't put yourself first. Put Vernon and the taxpayers of this town first. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one on the floor, Marcy?
I have Sean Mazer.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Major.
Okay. Sean Mazur, registered architect, 5 Sleepy Hollow. I've looked over these bid documents for this pump track and trail, and at best, I'd call them inadequate. Have there been any RFIs on these? It seems you guys are pushing this way, way too fast. And from what I've heard tonight, I'm not the only one saying that. Also, tonight, if this council votes to approve Mr. Shortway and Mr. Fury's actions tonight within the realm of Resolution 21-276, you will all be acting in direct violation of local government ethics laws, NJSA 40A:9-22.5, Section C. No local government officer or employee shall use or attempt to use his official position to secure unwarranted privileges or advantages for himself or others. Section D, no local government officer or employee shall act in his official capacity in any matter where he, a member of his immediate family, or a business organization in which he has an interest, has a direct or indirect financial or personal involvement that might reasonably be expected to impair his objectivity or independence of judgment. This resolution should be tabled until the new council is sworn in. Mayor Burrell, if this should reach your desk, I urge you to veto this and put it on a future agenda. It's clearly the righteous thing to do here. Furthermore, I hereby make a motion for ordinance number 10-27 to be placed on future agenda with the new council at the helm. To refresh you all what this is, this was an ordinance introduced in 2010 to establish conflict of interest guidelines for Vernon Township relative to its public officials. In closing tonight, I'm calling for the immediate resignation of Harry Shortway and Mike Fury for their actions in securing unwarranted privileges for themselves in this township. Thank you and happy holidays.
Thank you.
I have Chris D.
What's the name?
Chris D.
Christie.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good evening and happy holidays to all of you. My name's Chris Dowling. I'm the COO of Sussex Cultivation. I reside at 69 Mandeville Drive, the township of Wayne. Sussex Cultivation is a diverse team of local professionals with decades of combined experience in the healthcare, financial, and agricultural industries. Later this month, Sussex Cultivation will submit an application to the state of New Jersey for a cannabis cultivation license with proposed operations on a rural plot of farmland in Vernon Township. About the team, my wife and I are the owners of Nurses 24/7, one of the prominent healthcare staffing companies in the New Jersey area in a highly regulated industry. We employ over 500 licensed nurses throughout the region and maintain close relationships with hospitals and healthcare systems in New Jersey and New York City. Joe Ballantoni has over 30 years of accounting and finance experience, having previously served as a CFO of the Crystal Springs and Mountain Creek Resort. Joe and his wife Denise also own and operate a cannabis farm in Grants Pass, Oregon, where they manage over 40,000 square feet of cannabis space. Andrew Kaplan also has years of experience in emerging cannabis markets. Andy owns several facilities in Portland, Oregon, with an emphasis on regulation, compliance, staffing, and community outreach. Last but not least, Steve Olympio, the company's security director, is a 30-year law enforcement veteran who spent most of his year as a narcotics detective and president of the Patterson PBA. Detective Olympio has previously developed security systems for out-of-state cultivation sites, and his experience will be instrumental in ensuring the safety and the security of our community. Sussex Cultivation's proposed site is a farmland assessed property, a significant distance from any school or place of worship, and specifically zoned to permit cannabis cultivation. When Sussex Cultivation receives a license from the state, retail sales of cannabis will be expressly prohibited from that site. Rather, Sussex Cultivation will do what Sussex County has always done best, farming and agriculture. And perhaps most importantly, 2% of all the proceeds from Sussex Cultivation's operation will go right back to Vernon Township in the form of a municipal transfer tax. In addition, Sussex Cultivation is committed to supporting the health and wellness programs of Vernon by contributing 1% of our profits to the township for those programs. It is said a good neighbor is someone who smiles at you over the back fence but doesn't climb over it. It is Sussex Cultivation's mission to be the best neighbor possible to the township and its community at large. Thank you very much for consideration of resolution number 21-283. And again, happy and healthy holidays to all of you.
Thank you, Madam. Anyone else?
No, I don't
Do you
have,
have any emails to be read?
not for agenda items.
Okay, at the end. Okay. Can I have a motion to close? Well, first, is there anybody else who wants to speak before we close the floor? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the floor to the public?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?